right engine open, refueling while we were still on board, mid-air U-turn, and ground vehicles waiting during landing. Sounds like a movie, right? But I lived it, and I got it all on my video. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our channel. In this video, I am going to share my full experience as a passenger on Air India flight AI315, the one that turned back to Hong Kong midair. From what happened before takeoff, to what we saw in the sky, to how many ground vehicles were already waiting, and what the staff told us and what happened thereafter. This was one of the most confusing and intense flight experience as I ever had. So stay with me and I will show you the real footage and let you decide what really happened with Air India. It all began when we received the email that the flight has been delayed by around 3 hours the next day. On seeing this email, I checked what happened on the same day in the morning. I realized the flight was delayed in the morning as well. Well, I thought it could be a normal routine. I went to the airport to check in, and the first flight name was that Air India flight has been delayed. Yes, it was expected. But it was something you don't feel good at the first instinct. We continue to check in, and what we find on the check-in counter, there was a message displaying that the flight has been delayed due to operational reasons. Here you can check. The flight delay has been delayed due to operational reasons. Here you can see on the quote. Because the flight was delayed by 4 hours, it's a courtesy from Air India that they offered us a coupon of 80. Well, I had a couple of drinks and some snacks before heading towards the boat. And I thought that they have checked this flight thoroughly. That's why the delay was occurred. On moving towards my seat, I asked one of the staff member that everything is good in this flight as it was delayed. Well, the staff replied that yes, this flight is new, so you no need to worry and you can go safely and happily. After we took our seats, there was nothing unusual so far. Now, my seat was on the right side of the flight, from which I could see the wings very carefully. Since I have recently heard a news about the flaps that were not operating well for the Air India flight that took off from Ahmedabad, I paid attention on the flaps. So during takeoff, the flaps were not open and it seemed quite well to me. Now, since we arrived on the flight in the sky, we noticed that the seatbelt sign was still on. It has already been more than half an hour that seatbelt sign was still on and there was no crew passenger that was roaming around. So far, everything was going smoothly. I checked the flight entertainment, but it was not working at all. Although I have flown by Air India a number of times, and it is very common to see that many times their AirTag system doesn't work. So as alternative, they have provided a Wi-Fi in the flight that you can watch the same entertainment on your mobiles. Now, since it has already been around more than 40 minutes that no crew passenger was roaming, and they were still sitting on the desk and the light was still on. Now, when I woke up from the nap, I found that the aircraft was refueling. This was, although the passenger next to me said that this is not unusual, but it was first time for me. I continued to pay attention that how long this will continue. Well, during this time, the flight had taken two steep left turns. And I was thinking maybe it's a flight route that needs such steep turns 2 times. Well, since the defueling was still going on, I thought, let me check where is our flight heading towards and why it took 2 turns. When I saw the flight map, I find that not only defueling was still going on for a long time, it seems like it's almost more than 20 minutes. Defueling was continuously going on. To my surprise, I was shocked to see that there was a U-turn and the flight seemed pointing towards Hong Kong. Now I was little worried. I made a bell to call air hostess. Although she came, and I show her this map. And I ask her, could you please tell that whether we are moving back to Hong Kong? And with a light voice, she said, yes, we are heading towards Hong Kong. Now I was worried, what has happened? You can see that in this map, we are in between and the flight is pointing towards Hong Kong. At the same time, defueling is still going on the right hand side, and it has already been a long time. Then the passenger announcement came. Here you can see clearly.
We're having some technical problem. We will not be able to continue our flight destination to Delhi. And destination will be returning back to Hong Kong again. I apologize for this inconvenience. Kindly cooperate with the cabin crew. We'll get back to you after landing for the course correction. Thank you. Thank you for patient. Cabin crew will be forever.
The passenger in the passenger announcement, the captain said that we are heading back toward Hong Kong due to technical glitch, technical difficulty. There was no further explanation that what was this technical difficulty. Now, after the announcement is over, we are ready for landing. By this time, there was nothing unusual in the flight. We didn't feel any turbulence, of course, apart from the normal turbulence that every flight can have, but there was nothing unusual so far. When we were heading towards the Hong Kong airport now, here you can see in the clips that we are going towards Hong Kong, back. Now, when I notice that finally we landed in Hong Kong, so you can see in my boarding pass that the flight number, it can be clearly seen. Once it landed safely, although we got a sense of relief. When the flight took a right turn, we find there were many vehicles behind us. Then I realized that there could have been a problem with the landing gear as well, perhaps, or these vehicles were on standby. On the far end, we also see some lights were on for the firefighter. Well, the flight was seemingly going slow now and it was about to halt. So it was a sense of relief that we are lucky, we are saved, we are fine. And eventually, we had to wait around half an hour in the flight after it was stopped in one of the isolated areas of the Hong Kong airport. It was not at the bridge. Yes. And then another passenger announcement came that this flight stand cancelled and we had to pick our luggage and need to check in again for the next scheduled flight. Out of the aircraft, I met the same staff I met before, and this time I asked what went wrong, and he just mentioned there was some issue with the oil on the right side. That's all he mentioned without further details. This is Air India flight 315 that returned to Hong Kong. You can see the right side engine that has been opened up for inspection, and this is what that was creating the problem for mid-air U-turn back to Hong Kong. Oh my god. Well, once we reached to the luggage belt, we met one of the Air India staff, and he told us that the Regal hotel in the airport has been arranged for us. There would be some vouchers for meals, for dinner, and the next flight could be expected in the morning. Although he was not confirmed, but he was very supportive and he was waiting there till all the passengers left. He mentioned that since the flight is cancelled, then we all can get refund. Well, the Air India arranged the Regal airport hotel meal voucher and asked us to wait for the next scheduled flight. Most of us were worried that after this aircraft is repaired, we may be sent in the same aircraft. So many of us were speculated and were not feeling comfortable by using Air India, at least for some times. That's why many of us cancelled the flight and didn't choose to go to the airport hotel. But yes, some of have chosen to follow with the Air India rescheduled flight. And later we get the email that the new air flight has been arranged via Bangkok. Here you can see by using the other airlines. So that was my full experience on board Air India 315, from due filling or mid-air U-turn to seeing emergency vehicle waiting us as we landed. However, I still have more questions than answers. I hope airlines can take transparency and passenger communication more seriously. If you have experienced something similar or work in aviation and can explain any part of this, we would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching till the end. Please like, share and subscribe if you find this helpful, and stay tuned for more real stories from passengers' perspective. Thank you very much.